Punches, kicks, cars, explosions. It can only be the spectacle of an action movie. What other genre can make you feel like a badass and like make you want to head to the gym? You know what? Time to the gym right now.
18! They don't know me, son!
As someone who really found a new appreciation and love for the genre, especially in a world of heavy green screen, cheap CGI, and overall underwhelming cinema experiences, I wanted to share with you guys my top 10 action movies of all time. These, without a doubt, are not films that will change your perception on life. I guarantee one of these films will make you want to work out, go to the gym, learn a new martial art. Just in general, just appreciate the stunt coordination, choreography, and set pieces within these movies. So without further ado, let's get into it. Although it's a top 10 list, there's a handful of titles that just didn't make the cut, but I just wanted to give them a quick honorable mention because they definitely deserve it. Extraction, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Yip Man, TMNT 1990. Number 10. Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Michael Bay is without a doubt a very divisive filmmaker when it comes to audiences, especially his Transformer movies, but you can't deny that he puts the block in blockbuster. I must say he's a pioneer within his genre, especially Dark of the Moon in my opinion is the perfect magnum opus within his first trilogy of films. He knows how to make things look sexy, whether that be shots of vehicles, the women, the fight scenes, and we cannot forget the explosions. Dark of the Moon puts you right there in the battlefront between Autobots and Decepticons, with a stellar score yet again by Steve Jablonsky. In an age where we live in, where VFX in films are clearly unfinished and sadly rushed to meet tight deadlines, even in the 2020s. Looking back at the Transformers CGI, especially when they are transforming and the explosion and the fight scenes, the minute details, they've aged so well. It takes your breath away not just on the practical side but the visual side of things as well. Dark of the Moon is a must for popcorn flick fans of all kind. Number 9. ShangChi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. When I first watched films such as Captain America the Winter Soldier for the first time, I was legit jaw-dropped by some of the hand-to-hand combat throughout the movie, specifically the scenes between Steve Rogers and the masked Winter Soldier in Washington. And as the years went past, I was kind of getting annoyed how no other film continued that style of fight sequence, or clearly the big boss man, Kevin Feige, was spying on me and decided to make a whole film with amazing hand-to-hand combat and choreography, and I was sold. With ShangChi, the greatest combative fighter joins the MCU with an epic adventure and origin story. I'm not lying by saying this, but this movie is the closest thing we'll ever get to a shonen anime movie adaptation on the big screen. This is the closest Naruto or Dragon Ball Z film we'll ever get. It's got all the tropes as well, like come on, underground fighting tournaments, the death of a parental figure, epic over-the-top sequences with an actual nine-tailed fox and dragons, like come on. It's the best movie within the MCU's Phase 4 lineup of projects in my personal opinion. Number 8. Edge of Tomorrow. What if you took the concept of Groundhog Day and mix it in with a futuristic dystopian sci-fi setting, while having Tom Cruise caught in a time loop? Edge of Tomorrow, based off the well-popular manga and novel All You Need Is Kill, pretty much follows Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt fighting a giant horde of aliens aiming to end this war. They just keep losing and dying and resetting the day. Although a pretty straightforward concept, it's really the creativity within the storyline that keeps the audience hooked. Tom Cruise after every reset and loop is constantly improving and adapting. If you're a gamer, you know this feeling. Think of it as being a level 1 noob at the beginning of a game, but by the end of it you're this grizzled badass veteran at level 99 within the same movie. That's Tom Cruise's character in this story. In addition to the charisma both Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt bring to the role, we have also epic giant kills, epic mech robots and giant swords. The anime vibes are there. Number 7. Rurouni Kenshin. Probably the best shonen anime adaptation. Rurouni Kenshin, also known as Samurai X in regions. This movie genuinely, in my opinion, is on par, if not better than the original anime. And saying that is a very, very bold statement, I can't lie. Adapting the Tokyo arc where a lone samurai wielding an unusual reverse blade is trying to find himself in this new era of history he's in. It has everything, man. Compelling main protagonist, lovable cast of characters, even a subtle romance between Kaoru and Kenshin in the story. But of course, some of the best swordplay I've ever seen in a movie. We need more swordplay like this, please. Characters like Kenshin, he's OP. I'm a sucker for that kind of trope. The guy's such a badass. Number 6. Rumble in the Bronx. What kind of action would this be if I didn't have Jackie Chan? Rumble in the Bronx is the definition of fun. The city of New York is usually very much romanticized in the eyes of many viewers, including our main protagonist here, but that view comes crashing down when he enters the Bronx. A fun martial art flick with a trifecta of parties battling it out with some of the most insane and creative action sequences I've ever seen put to screen. Jackie Chan is one of those actors who really puts his all when making movies, both mentally and physically. Like for example, he sprained an ankle while during filming, and what they did was instead of holding the production, they legit just put a cast on his foot, painted it up to look like a shoe and continued shooting the movie. It's insane. Only someone like Jackie Chan can do that. So yeah, Rumble in the Bronx. Number 5. Mad Max Fury Road. 2015 was the year where I want to say my love for films and the craft of making it were truly blossoming and growing within me. And when I got to that cinema, I understood objectively what a good film was. And that was Mad Max Fury Road. An extremely simple premise of an escort mission, another reference for you gamers out there. It's so over the top, yet all done practically. You just catch yourself watching it and you're like, how the flip did they shoot this? All the set pieces, the stunts, the cinematography, the sandstorm sequence, whatever you do, watch this on the crispiest, highest resolution and biggest screen you can. The post-apocalyptic world of Mad Max is so engulfing and enriching, it's only a tip of the iceberg on what we see in Fury Road. George Miller and crew will go down as legends for making this film. And also one of the best supporting leads in a movie, Furiosa. Oh my god, she's a... bro. Number 4. Top Gun Maverick. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand. I have never had butterflies in my stomach and the biggest smile leaving a cinema in my life like the way I did after this film. Man, tears were shed. They actually filmed this on actual fighter jets with actors in them, and oh my god, this movie is unreal. This entire movie is legit an IRL version of the Death Star trench run, but the way they set everything up, pulling this mission off is like you're gonna need a miracle. And who better to pull off a miracle than Tom Cruise? A much more older and mature Maverick returning to Top Gun after 30 years, but this time to train and mentor a new group of young hot-headed pilots. Tension is so real, but the heart is 100% there. I truly understand now why people say that Tom Cruise is pretty much the last real movie star in Hollywood. Yeah, you don't get movies like this ever, so again, he's the GOAT. Number 3, The Raid. Who would have thought that a small action movie from Indonesia would have become a cult classic among action-fic movie fans? Just as the title states, this small team of riot police raid this drug lord complex and try to take out this one bad guy. This movie is violent, bloody, rough. It has everything that you want. Some of the kills in this movie will make you want to jump on how creative and bloody they are. You only get a few pockets of spaces for the audience to actually breathe because this movie literally is 10% story and 90% action. The fact that it's set in a slum as well, yeah, you get a lot of similar room and set design, especially in the hallways of this complex. Another movie would easily fall into the trap of the viewer getting bored because it's the same environment over and over again. Yet again, the action sequences are so well done and rehearsed, you don't ever notice. My lord, The Raid is a clear example on that how good and relevant international movies are outside of Hollywood. Number 2. John Wick Chapter 4. I say this with every John Wick installment, but I think the action movie genre will probably plateau after each John Wick film. Any of the chapters on this franchise could have made this spot, and it could be recency bias, but I got to go John Wick 4. The 4th chapter takes the action to another gear yet again, yet also serving a very nice bookend to the first movie. It's the greatest non-comic book movie franchise I've ever seen. The underground world of assassins is so vast now and developed within these past 4 movies. It genuinely feels lived in. We see John Wick globe-trotting from New York to the Middle East to France to Japan, and oh my god, the Osaka sequence alone is just to die for. The fights, the duels, the choreography, the swordplay, the gun fu, bro, it's the gun fu is 10/10, the movie is 10/10, John Wick is 10/10. Keanu Reeves and crew, Donnie Yen, everyone deserves a pat on the back. I feel like the John Wick franchise alone is just a culmination and a love letter to the genre itself, but elevates it at the same time. Again, that Osaka sequence, oh my god, it's beautiful, man. Number 1, Mission Impossible Fallout. Your mission, should you choose to accept it. Mission Impossible Fallout, to this day, is the greatest IMAX experience I've ever had in a cinema. This is legit a masterpiece of an action film. It's crazy because I've had 3 Tom Cruise films on this list. That speaks facts on how good of like a movie maker he is. And plus they're all relatively new films. The guy ages like a fine wine. His movies just get better and better. Fallout has everything, and although I want to say Brad Bird gave the MI franchise a good refresh, Christopher McQuarrie really set the bar on how good these movies can get. But Fallout has everything, man. Stunts. Like, once you see some of these action sequences, you can't go back to typical action movies. You can't go back to green screens and wires and just stunt doubles. The Halo jump, the Paris heist and bike chase, the helicopter chase sequence, the bathroom fight, the flippin' Henry Cavill mustache fight sequence in the bathroom. Henry Cavill alone, oh, with his arms, oh bro, when Henry Cavill reloaded his arms, that made the movie for me. It's a peak cinema experience. So that's it, guys. That is my list, my top 10 movies, my top 10 action movies. What do you guys think? Did I miss on any movies? Bear in mind, again, some movies, I haven't seen every film out there, so please bear with me. But I want to say this is a decent list, especially if you're a newcomer into the genre. But with that said, what do you guys think? Please comment down below and let me know. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace.